Welcome back to another episode of Mailbag Monday, where Chris and I are answering all of your marketing, data, AI, very light legal questions every Monday. Chris, this week, this is an interesting question. Ellen asked, what are the security concerns for AI tools, not just ChatGPT, but AI tools? My company is blocking all these AI tools due to security concerns. Is there an argument for combating this just block it approach? Now, I will, with the caveat, Ellen didn't specify what the security concerns are, so our answer is going to be a little bit more general. So, Chris, do we, as everyday marketers, have to worry about security with these, AI tools that are definitely not stealing our identities?
There's two sets of concerns. One is the compromise of sensitive or protected information, right? So you should not be putting personally identifying information or company secrets into a system like a chat GPT where that data is being handed over to a third party and you agreed to this when you signed up, right? So that is clearly one aspect. The second aspect is as these tools get more and more integrated, they will have access to more things like your local file system on your computer. And there is a technique called prompt injection that allows a hostile person to inject code into your prompt and essentially tell the computer to do things that it did not intend to do. Now, this isn't really a problem if you are sitting down copying and pasting and typing into a chat GPT, but say you had a search box on your website that was powered by generative AI that was connected to the other systems on that server without proper security. You could absolutely have a third party online on the web go to your website and type in a prompt injection that overrides the directives, and depending on the model could do things like give access to the local database server, which would be a really, really, really bad thing to have happen.
I feel like it's just a new piece of tech, but it's the same security protocols we should have been thinking about all along. Contact forms. Contact forms are some of the most vulnerable, and companies are leaving themselves wide open. We've seen companies that are adding, sometimes accidentally, protected health information into the URL string that goes right into Google Analytics. It's not the security protocols question. If you're only now just thinking about security protocols, you're definitely already vulnerable. Because if you have any kind of a digital footprint for your company, you're vulnerable to, improper security. So you should already be thinking about these things. If you have a login portal for your clients, that's vulnerable. A contact form, any place somebody can inject any kind of information, that's vulnerable. ChatGPT, generative AI, those things, it's just a different form of a place for someone to inject. Even the comments in a YouTube video. So, for example, every Thursday at 1 p.m., we do our live stream, So What? And I would say at least 50% of the time, we're getting spam comments trying to inject something as we're doing the live stream in the YouTube channel. And so you would oh, but it's YouTube. Well, yeah, but they're still trying to do something. So, security protocols for this kind of stuff are not new, I guess.
Exactly. Now, in terms of the use of large language models locally on your machine, those concerns about handing over data that you really shouldn't be are 100% valid, right? So one of the solutions I would recommend that this to any person in corporate IT to take a look at is a tool. This one is called GPT for All. This is a large language model interface that connects to any number of models. You can download the models of your choice, but this runs entirely on your computer. The data that you put into this never goes anywhere. So I'm going to put some sensitive information here. I'm going to put in infer.pen at trustinsights.ai. I'm saying infer this person's first name and last name from this email address, right? This is personally identifying information. You should not put a query like this into ChatGPT because you are handing over information. Now it's saying it can't guess, but I tried this earlier with this model, and it was able to infer that was Christopher was the first name and Penn was the last name. This would be an example of something where you would want to use a tool like this, where the data is not leaving. It's not going on the internet. It's not going even to the local network. It's all run locally, self-contained. So as long as you have good models that you're working with within this interface, you can do this kind of work locally and still get decent results, particularly for tasks. If there's a specific kind of task you want to be using a model for, there are customizable models for these things that can do some tasks really well. One of my favorites is a model called Karen the Editor. Karen the Editor just fixes grammar and spelling. It does nothing else. It has a very hard time, for example, doing like song lyrics. But if you give it fiction and nonfiction writing, it will fix the grammar like crazy. That's one of the directions that the industry is going, is highly specialized models that do just one thing. And so from a security perspective, those are really good to have, because in addition to them being focused on a specific task, they're also in some ways crippled because they can't do other things that a prompt injection might be able to convince a bigger, more general model to be able to do. So those are a couple of the major considerations I think are important about these things, and a way to mitigate at least some of the concerns.
Well, and I would add to that, Chris, if you are working locally, I mean, you also have to consider the security protocols of your own machine. And so my laptop rarely leaves my house. So, I could theoretically say, oh, it's pretty secure. Well, what if someone breaks in and steals it? Have I done everything I can to protect my laptop when I am not using it? Is it fingerprint enabled? Do I have a secure password? Just the basics. I used to work with a lot of people, and we kept a lot of protected health information on our personal machines. And when we had a security officer come in and audit, she was appalled because she was able to break into 90% of the computers because of, not strong passwords, or just, places that they're left, or someone would log into a shared machine in a conference room and not log back out. And so just simple things like that, like those security protocols still have to exist in this artificial intelligence world.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the combination of my luggage.
I do get that reference.
Good. It was a really good question. And again, hopefully this advice will be something that you can take to your corporate IT teams, corporate security teams, have them evaluate these tools. GPT for All, for example, is open source. So your corporate security team could download the source code, audit the code itself, audit the models, and say, okay, we will certify this is approved for use in this context, and be able to do that. So really good question. Thanks for asking. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching today's show. If you liked it, please hit the subscribe button and bell to be notified when we publish new shows. If you want to catch all our content, including back episodes, subscribe to our free Inbox Insights newsletter at trustinsights.ai/newsletter. Want to talk about what you've enjoyed? Join our free Slack community, Analytics for Marketers, at trustinsights.ai/analyticsformarketers. Need help with your marketing, data, analytics, or AI? Drop us a line at trustinsights.ai/contact. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.